Prepare yourself for invasion. This is Indie Invasion.
Hi guys, it's Eric from Indie Invasion Podcast, and today I have a package to kind of look at. It's going to be a first look, kind of first impression of some RPG source material that I just got from a recent Kickstarter from Kobold Press. Before we get to that, if you guys could like, share, and subscribe, that we'd really appreciate that. It helps the channel grow and spread the word of all these great indie games that are out there. So let's get into it. So what I got from a recent Kickstarter is from Kobold Press, and it's a source book for 5e. So it's an alternative to Dungeons and Dragons out there, and it's a different realm built in Kobold Press's Midgard realm that they have, which is kind of cool because it's a realm that is an actual flat world, and its influences are kind of the Middle European kind of lore, so you kind of have that flavor in it. Well, what I got is their newest Kickstarter that just came out, and it is the Southlands. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the set that I got, and we'll kind of get a closer look at what's in some of these books. So as you guys can see, Kobold Press does make a lot of different source books that you can use with 5th edition rules. It just gives you another source. They have these world books that come out that give you the background of different areas. Like this is the main book that I showed just earlier, and then they got stuff like this, Empire of the Ghouls, which is kind of cool, and they got little supplements like a player's guide that introduces different classes and races and stuff like that, amongst other stuff. And like this one's all in the woods area. But what I just got from the Kickstarter, and this is for the books, is these things, which I've been waiting for them for a while. So let's go ahead and bust open, not waste any time with it. But with this Kickstarter, we got the world book for Southlands. Now, Southlands they describe it as the world being alive with elemental power and wonderful magic. And basically you think of like I would say like a lot of Egyptian theme, your kind of some of the African themes are in here, and even I think some of the Indian. So you got like your Arabian-esque Egyptian themes going on here. It's a world where ancient god kings are still walking in the land. In this setting, it gives you possible adventures for ancient tombs, enormous jungles, deserts. There's floating cities. Here's a picture of the continent. This book, they have domains of the gnolls, minotaurs. You have, like I mentioned, the god kings and other stuff that you can use in different campaigns or one shots. So there's a ton in this. You get a lot of new, like I mentioned, different playable races. There's a picture of some of the dwarf. Beginning of this world book gives you a big whole timeline you can read about the land. But I just want to give you guys a quick look at some of these books. Not really an unboxing, just kind of a first glance, first impression. I'm kind of excited because this is something very different than what you normally see in D&D with the deserts and the Egyptian theme. These books are really nice. Got some neat stuff going on in there. It does have all your familiar races that you can play with. And I'll show you, they do offer you like a lot of these source books, when they come out in sets, they offer you like a player's guide that gives you new options and stuff. One of the things that makes Kobold Press's material stand out to me is the variety of races that you can totally different races you can pick. And like with Southlands, they have very thematic ones. Like they have a race called Sobek, which you'll see in a little bit, that is kind of based on that Egyptian god. They're basically alligator men, which I always thought was kind of cool. So yeah, they just talk about the different cities on the continent and the area. This one has they separate them into different areas. This one's the lands of the sand. We'll flip through some a little bit quicker here. There's some minotaurs. You can play minotaur as a playable race. And then they have this one I thought was neat. So, and you can actually play these guys as playable characters. You want to be a little hyena man with all your typical classes and stuff. So let's see some more information about the different clans and cults and all that kind of stuff. Here's a chapter on the kingdoms of salt and steel. So this, I think, is where you get more into the Egyptian. They have Raven folk as a player race, which I think is kind of neat. So I think I caught wind Kosar Coast. So you kind of have a little bit of pirate theme going there. I first came across Kobold Press's stuff. When was it? It was, I think, with the Empire of the Ghouls, because I'm into the vampires and all that stuff. And I thought it was just a neat setting that they have a whole kingdom that's vampires in this world. And I also think as an alternative for a monster manual, because they have their own monster manuals with Kobold Press. They have very different monsters that I know a lot of people will, are doing more of their home campaigns, something that they've come up with. They wanted different monsters. They started going to them. So that kind of opened my eyes. Oh, what do they got there? Something different. This Abandoned Lands kind of reminds me of Atlantis a little bit. I'm not sure. I have to read through these a little bit to see if that's what they were going for. But yeah, and then they had this new race, kind of like insectoid bugs, which is kind of interesting. I mean, they go all the way down to the jungles here. They got lots of maps in these books, which is kind of neat. Some dinosaurs. There's a lizard man. And they actually have a whole list in this book of actual their own gods. Very many of them are Egyptian themed. And they have Basat. So yeah, there's a lot of lore for this Midgard world that Kobold Press created. Here's stats on different NPCs that you can use for campaigns. Genie, some kind of genie. Some original magic items. A little bit of. They do have an index, which is nice in all their books, but there's an ad for the Midgard, their original book, and then an ad for what we're looking at right now. And they have a monster manual. They have a regular publishing they do for different adventures. And then they give you a big fold-out book, map. So that's the source book. But then they also have, I'm going to open it, a lot of their different sets come with these, and I think that's kind of cool, is these player guide books. So you can see they have, those are, oh boy, the glare is bad. Those are some of the different races you can play. They have the Sobek I mentioned earlier, the alligator men. They have down here Jinborn. So kind of like they're half genie, half human. They have the cat folk, the bugs. And this gives you all the information you would need to play any of these races. So yeah, there's cat folk, which are very interesting. That was a big focus on the Southlands were the cats. But then yeah, they got dwarfs in there and your gnolls, humans, of course. You can still play humans. Djinborn. Minotaurs are a big thing here. The insectoids. I don't know how you say that exactly. Tusculi? Tuscole? There's a race that I think is kind of neat. Hiru, which are basically raven folk. There's some lizard men. Sobek. You can play Trollkin. And then they give you all your different backgrounds for, you can roll up in different charts. They have, what else they have in here? Character options. So there's a lot that you can do to make very different characters. I always look at this stuff as more of like add-on stuff that you can take bits and pieces. It's all source material. And then yeah, they have different for druids, different like circle of the jungle, so their powers are from the jungle. Or back here they have circle of the desert, so very desert oriented for your druids. And I do think they have a lot of original weapons in here, which is kind of cool. Now, if you are interested in seeing any of this world, I know Kobold Press does stream like on Twitch, and you can find it on YouTube. Some of their um, playthroughs of different adventures. Yeah, there's some items. But then what's cool about this is they did come with a city book and adventure for this one's called City of the Cats. And this one, it has 3 adventures in there for levels 1 to 5. And they give you everything you would need to run this adventure if you wanted to do it straight out of the book. And just like any kind of adventure book, they give you all the background, they give you your maps, and then they basically talk about how to run the adventure, different NPCs that you can run into. It's organized very good, these books. They give you nice maps in here that you can probably just photocopy, or if you have the PDF, I think I did get the PDFs as part of the Kickstarter. So I can print out what I want if I want to run something from this. And they give you all the stats for the different NPCs or monsters that you're going to have in the adventure. And then they gave me this one that I believe was a Kickstarter exclusive in hardback. I believe this is available in a PDF on their website. And this one is Beneath the Sand. So we're starting to talk about a lot of the tombs. So you're raiding tombs in this one. Characters levels 2 through 6. I believe there's 3. Is there 3 in this one? Or I mean, they claim you can easily adapt this to fit to any, like desert themed campaign that you're maybe planning on running. You can take bits and pieces and add it to a current campaign. but we'll flip through it real quick. Just like the other book, they give you all the maps. And this one's a little bit thinner. This might be just one single adventure. Different characters you'll meet in there. Some monsters, maps again. And here's the appendix with all the different monsters. And they give you all their stats. And you can combine this stuff with some of their other books like I showed you earlier. Some more advertisement in the book, but that's just a quick look, first impression of Southlands. I'm kind of excited to dive into this and see what we can, maybe I can use and write up for something original. But we will go ahead and go back up and I'll give you some closing thoughts. Well, there you go, guys. There's just a sneak peek at the Kobold Press newest installment in their world of Midgard is Southlands. Little bit of look at the world book, some of the player's guide, and then the different adventures that they have for the Southlands that you use in 5e rules. All this stuff you can go find on Kobold Press's website, koboldpress.com. You can find these ones and many of the other ones that I was showing you earlier, whether you want to play in a forest or maybe you want to fight in the city of the undead. And I think in this world, what's really neat is you can play an actual zombie as a player character. So yeah, go check out Kobold Press. If any of this stuff kind of interests, it's an alternative source material for D&D, whether you want to take bits and pieces of this stuff and add it to a current D&D campaign or one shot maybe you're doing, or maybe you just want to run a one shot of this. They have a lot of those on their website, and I believe most of this stuff is available in hardcover book and PDFs, and you can get one or the other or both on their website if so interests you. I think, their books are price comparable to D&D books. The PDFs I think are about $20. So if you just want a PDF and check it out, there's a lot of material as you saw in here, for the land and kind of showing the background and what it pertains. So go head over to Kobold Press and check that out if any of that's of interest to you. Like I said, they got a lot of material in this world. So I think it'd be cool to check some of it out and take what you need. But that's all I got for you today for this quick kind of sneak peek. Jump into a first impression look of Kobold Press's Southlands that they're fulfilling right now. I do believe it is available on their website. I just looked a little bit ago. And hey, if you guys are interested in more content that me and Mac are putting out for Indie Invasion, check us out over on Podbean. You can check us out on Facebook and all the other social media. YouTube, we got more videos like this for you guys that, kind of give you guys a look into some, indie product that's out there. And you know what, guys? Until next time, when you're rolling up your dice in your RPG games, this is Eric saying, take it easy and prepare yourself for the invasion.